Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to The Artist Prepares. I am your host, Mr. J the Actor. My next guest coming to the stage is from the birthplace of hip hop. Talking about the Boogie Down Bronx, y'all. She's an actress with both stage and film credits, but also a model and entrepreneur looking to make a huge impact in the entertainment industry any way that she can. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Shantwanelle Dixon-Dubose.
What's good, Shan?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
I am excited to have you here, a fellow Eagle. I love the shirt. Shout out to all my people at the North Carolina Central University, only the greatest university in the land. So,
Absolutely.
man, we're going to have some fun today. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So, we're going to get into it. But before we get started, we're actors. Actors, we got to get warmed up before we really get into our zone. So I got
Mhm.
a few rapid fire questions for you, just to get us warmed up, break a little ice.
Okay.
So the first, I got four words. We're gonna do a little bit of word association. So I'm gonna give you a word, and the first thing that comes to mind, just let us know. Okay? You ready?
Oh, here for the randomness. Okay.
First word you have is struggle. First thing that comes to mind when you think of the word struggle.
Money.
Mm, I like it. All right. Peace.
To peace.
Mhm.
I would say happiness.
I like it. Movie.
Movie. I say I don't know why I thought popcorn. Because I missed the theater. I don't know.
We'll take it. We'll take it. It's your word. Next word is range. First thing that comes to mind when you hear the word range.
Depth. So like how deep you can go. So depth.
Yep, that could be. It's your word.
Mhm.
However it comes to you. You said depth, right?
Mhm.
I like it. So we've been fortunate enough to see the movie Fences, but we're actors, so we know that it comes from a play, August Wilson's play. There are two great portrayals of Troy in Fences, both from James Earl Jones and Denzel Washington. Which do you prefer? James Earl Jones portrayal or Denzel Washington?
Oh, why you put me in that
Oh
position?
yeah, put your
Uh,
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
for either actor, please. I am so sorry. You see this? Look, I love you both equally. Okay. I just gotta put that out there because I don't want to be like, oh, so you gonna pick one or the other? Okay, cool. No, no, no. Um, you know, I am probably going to have to go with Denzel.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with
It's very
Denzel.
strong answer.
But it's hard. It's hard though. Like I'm always in the middle of things. So like I'm always like, well, I love Denzel's performance, but I love James Earl Jones' voice.
Yeah.
Like it's just such like power behind it. So to hear him say those monologues, it's just like, it's so deep. Like even if I was on stage, I'd be like, is this is real life. This is
Yeah,
real.
the power.
But he to captivate and look at Denzel's performance on the big screen, it was just like I felt that, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah, I felt it and to see that, like you can see that he's in pain, that his character is in pain.
Yeah.
So, it's honestly I gotta take my hat off to both of them, but because because of the more recent or because I'm closer, my generation's closer to Denzel's performance, I'm gonna have to go with Denzel.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that was a hard one, but man, it's really they both have different elements of it. But man, James Earl Jones just his voice commands the attention.
He
Um,
commands
it
attention.
also always reminds when I think of him is Bubba Chuck from when being essential from dancing. Like he has
Yeah,
that just oh my gosh, let me lock in. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds
right.
Like,
Exactly. And I had Bubba Chuck one time as what I forgot what class that was. It was a dance class, of course. But I had him, and he always commanded the room. It's just like this aura he had every time he walked in the room. So him just being there just commanded your attention, and then that voice that came with it commanded that attention.
today
Yeah.
we're going to do theater. And you're like,
But
yeah, whatever you said, I want to do that. Yep. Uh-huh. I'm in.
a real quick side note of that, I remember one time I did some dance move where I kind of landed on my knees, and he's just like, "Darling, don't land on your knees like that. You want to keep your knees as long as possible. You're going to like ruin your knees." I'm sorry. I was just trying to I was just trying to impress you. But yes, absolutely. I love people that command, and they have this energy around them that command that attention anytime they're in the room.
Yeah, shout out to those great actors, and shout out definitely rest in peace to Bubba Chuck and all the work he's done, all the people he's touched and affected. So shout out to him. Now,
Right.
if they made a movie about you, so they had a whole pick about you, who would you want to play you in this movie? Dun dun dun.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Flipped it on you.
You sure did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great actors out there.
There is. Um, I have the person in my mind, but I'm drawing a blank on their name right now. But I have her in mind. I think the most recent thing I saw her in, she played in Empire. But I liked her performance. I can't. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't even think of her name right now.
I got it.
But if somebody flash a face, I'm like, "That's her." So
So talking about movies, what is your favorite movie?
I have a lot.
Okay, give us three. Three.
Um, well, a lot of people. I don't know if people know this about me, but I love musicals. So,
Mhm.
my most recent musical that was my absolute favorite is The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
And I don't know, I think I love it because the music
Hmm.
that they use is it's not like it's old timey and whatnot. It's like more of like it has a recent flair to it. And it has a lot of power behind the music. I love that. I loved Hamilton, of course, but Hamilton is it's not a movie, it's a stage play. But I loved Hamilton. As far as favorite movie without music, it's so many. Like quarantine, you watch so many different movies now. It makes you forget all the rest until it comes back on. It's like, oh yeah, that is my favorite movie. Um, I would have to say, I would have to say, gosh, why did you catch me off guard with this?
Hey,
Should have made me make a list.
I know. Well, just name any movie that you've been watching recently.
I
What's up?
mean, I'll say the movie I did watch most recently, and it just reminded me that's my favorite movie is the other Boiling Girl.
Hmm.
Ever seen that? It
Mm-mm.
has Scarlett Johansson, Natalie Portman. It's I want to say contemporary. Yeah. Basically about it's a story about King Henry
Okay.
and his wild antics, and it's surrounded about around the character Natalie Portman's character, who's mm, Annie. Yeah, she's asked to do something really like a really big favor for her family.
Hmm.
um and of course this is England during the time in England, everybody's wearing the big dresses, blah blah blah. And she's asked to be King Henry's confidant. If you're gonna catch my drift, like confidant meaning like somebody that's going to continuously make him happy and pleasure him.
Yeah, yeah.
in
Yeah.
all types of ways. But ultimately, what ends up happening is he ends up falling for her sister, Mary,
Dang.
and they end up falling in love, and he ends up his whole mo is to have a child, and it's a son, and he can take over the throne as king. And Mary ends up pregnant with the child instead of Annie, and um yeah, that creates the drama. And then Mary, well, Annie, sorry, Annie goes and she does what she wants to do, and then the family gets mad at her. And then I'm trying not to tell too much of the movie, because I do want you to see the movie, The Other Boiling Girl. It's actually a really good movie, and it's full of drama and scandal and whatnot. I just love it. And it's full of love, rage, war, not too much war, but it's full of a lot of different things, and that's what made me fall in love with it. Like, it's like they took a whole bunch of topics and put them all into one movie.
Mhm.
And you know it's based, I think it's lightly, I don't know if it's lightly, but it's based on true events.
Right. Okay.
It's not the complete story, but it's based on true events, and
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate about it.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So talking about movies, there's great portrayals of a phenomenal character called the Joker, right? And everyone has their favorite Joker. Who do you say played the best Joker? Because this is a debate that ever can go on forever.
Yeah, it
Who's
can.
your favorite Joker?
Heath Ledger. I'm sorry, and it's because he was so dark, but and you know what? That's another topic I'm gonna get to in a second. But he's just so dark,
Right.
and you can feel everything that he's talking about, and you can see, you know, you can actually relate to everything he's saying. It's just, and this is the next topic that I was talking about. It's just that with villains in like any type of superhero movie or comic or anything like that,
Right.
they always have this MO, right? But then you listen to what they're saying, and it's just like, well, are they wrong? Like some of them, like for instance, with the Joker, Heath Ledger's or Dark Knight's Joker.
Hmm.
Um, you hear what he's saying, and it's just like, you know what, low key, I understand and can relate and kind of and see where you're coming from. It's just your methods are just completely screwed up. Your methods of getting it is jacked up. But I get it. Same thing with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. You
Oh,
know,
he finished it. Yeah, it was a dark one, but but it had a story where you was kind of like, why is this dude like this? It made me
right?
look like why, like it wanted me to explore more. So I appreciate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like the insane quality of both of those Jokers. It's just like, bro, these guys are insane, but I get it. It's just like, and I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to come up and say, because I'm not saying I wouldn't do anything that they did,
Mm.
but however, I can honestly say I have thought of things that that they spoke of, like the oppression of
Mm.
people. Like they talked about people being oppressed, and it's just, you know, how these people look down from up high, and they look down at people, and they see that these people are struggling and that they need things and whatnot. Yet, you know everybody is about their own selfish greed and whatnot, and that's what I appreciate about both of those Jokers. But if I had to pick one that I love the most, it was Heath. Like he had like all the elements you needed in there. He had the comedy in there, he had the seriousness, he had the dark portion of it. Um, like, he
He
was just ruthless.
he commanded the screen when he was on. Every time he was
He
on, you paid attention.
really did. He really did. And unfortunately, rest in peace to him. Unfortunately, it was him building that character was part of his actual,
Mhm.
demise. And it sucks that it had to be that way. But then it's just, you look at it, it's just like, I want to be that artist that I'm gonna put my all into it,
Yeah.
and it and I hate to say this because I just don't want people to think I'm crazy or dark. But if by all means, because you love the craft so much, by all means, if it's gonna kill me, then I'd rather die this way.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, I know I died,
Okay.
you know, doing what I love.
Right.
and I gave the performance that, you know, no one else can give. And that's just you thinking in your mind, but no one else can give this performance. Top
Right.
that. And that's what, that's what I saw, I got from it,
Right, right. I feel you. I feel you. So you've been a actor. What has been or who has been, your biggest influence with just being an actor? Because some people look at other actors, they look at other celebrities or what have you, but who has been some of your big influences with just being an actor?
some of my big influences, one in particular, Viola Davis. I love that the command that she like has when she gets on the screen, whether she's on TV or whether she's on the big screen.
Mhm.
Um, and you can see she put in a lot of work. You can see that. Like I've seen earlier movies where she's played smaller roles, and I'm just like, even with that small role, it's like, dude, like
Did it.
she puts in the work. I want to put in the work like that. Or people like Angela Bassett.
Mhm.
You know, I want to put in work like her. Like I look up to her. And then there are even men that I look up to
Mhm.
as I don't know if that sounds crazy or not, but there's men I look up to. More recently, one man that I do look up to is Jonathan Majors. I
Mm.
don't know, if that's he's the lead in Lovecraft Country,
Mhm.
and done a couple of other things before that's been seen. But I really appreciate his performance because you can feel his words. You can feel, you
Wow.
know, the pain that that character feels. You can feel the love that character feels, you
Mm.
know. So it made me want to go research. I'm like, who is this person? And then I'm looking him up. I'm just like, he's really good. What are you like? I can honestly say he's like the next Denzel Washington.
Mm.
If you look at it, that's how strong of an actor he is. Like I can see that potential in
Wow.
him big time. Another guy that I like a lot, Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp.
One of the most versatile actors there is.
Right, right, right. And I feel like he doesn't really get his he doesn't really get the respect that
He don't get
he
like the Leonardo DiCaprio, 'cause
yeah, but even Leonardo doesn't and doesn't get it. Like,
yeah,
I just feel like there's so many people out there that don't get the respect that they deserve. They get respect, but they don't get this respect that they deserve. But I look up to them a lot.
Johnny Depp is one of the best character actors. I mean, just
I
you
love how versatile he is.
freaking like this. I can't even go into it enough. Edward Scissorhands and freaking Pirate. It's just so many things,
So versatile, and that's it. And that's the kind of actor that I want. I'm gonna say want to be. I am an actor, but that's the kind of actor that I want to be in the industry.
Right.
There's one teacher, Mr. Truitt. He used to always say to me whenever yeah, Truitt. He used to always say to me whenever I did my performances at school, he was just like, "You're just like a chameleon. Like I didn't even know that was you." Because at that point you had the costume on and whatnot. But I think what really brings that aspect together is the actions behind the costume
Yeah.
and the faces and the mannerisms and whatnot. And that's what you know I love about Johnny Depp. Like he's like the chameleon within the industry, and I want to be that same thing. I want to be a chameleon in the industry.
Yeah. He
So yeah.
kills it. Kills it. So I feel you on that. So let me ask you this. For our last question, what is the worst acting advice you received? Because everyone, feel like they got to give you this game changing free game speech as because you're actor. What's the worst advice you got?
Well, that depends. Is it from people who are actually artists, or do you mean like
Any
family members, or you mean like people who
whatever
I
it's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Or whatever. Because I've as an artist heard all types of things of what I shoulda, coulda, what I need to be doing, all types of things. And some things I'm just like, it's so outlandish. It's like, really, like, did you did you think about the statement before you said it to me? So I mean, it could be anything. So anything you felt like was just like something that is like it does not help you at all with your art or just being an artist. So what was the worst piece of advice you got?
Um,
She like, oh.
because I've gotten so many, and some of them I purposely I purposely while I'm listening it's going in on ear, and I'm just like, uh-huh, because I used to be a server, so I used to talk to so many different people and be in, in the room with so many different energies, and then if I bring it, I hated bringing it up because I just hated that advice. Um, but if I brought it up, oh, you should do that, and I'm just like, okay, can I get you some more water? Like, but I would say, hmm, advice wise, it's not even, I don't even know if that's counts as advice, but you need to get you need to get in the industry right now because you're getting too old.
Are you serious? Someone said that to you?
Like you're getting too old, and there's like tons of younger girls out there who are going for it, and they're gonna pick them over you because of because you're old. And I'm just like,
What?
interesting,
That's
interesting.
that's
Never mind the 80-something-year-old woman that got her little part in Black Panther. Never mind that. No.
that's she just started like doing her.
Right. Right. And for me, that kind of, made me feel some type of way because it's like, okay, now I have this time limit on my career when really there is no time limit on an acting career. There is none. You can get the biggest role of your life and be 60 years old. I mean, hey, check Morgan Freeman.
And it's no limit. Like it's not like a sport. Like when you're playing sports, professional sports, you only got a certain amount of window, and then after that, it's over.
Right.
You're not gonna be 50,
Mhm.
60 years old, 40 something years old doing that sport. Acting,
Right.
like it's no limit, and that's one of the greatest things I love. That like it doesn't matter what age you come in, there's gonna be work
Right.
for you. There's opportunities out there if you're willing to do the work. So it's special.
Mhm. And I know, and I personally, I know where that person got that mentality from because of their own life experiences. But sometimes I feel that people do not think about what they're going to say before they say it, and like really think about it. Like, is that really necessarily true though? It's just that.
Everything don't
Right,
need.
that's what bothers me about it. It's just like you don't know anything about my art. You don't know anything about, you know, what I have to do, what things I have to do on the stage and off the stage. You don't know anything that, the process, the different processes. And I know there's a lot of old school ways of doing things, and I know there's a bunch of new ways to do things when it comes to acting, but you don't really necessarily know because you're not doing it.
Hello.
So why give me advice on something that you're not even pursuing yourself?
You don't even do it. You don't even know what.
Right? You don't even like it's almost like you don't even live here or you don't even go here, something like that. So it's like, you gotta it's I really wish people would like, you
Finance
know,
company. You don't even know what it means to be an artist. Get out of here. No, I get you.
right.
No,
Right, and it's not, and it's, and it very well may be because they have done some artist work, but I feel like even as an artist, the different categories, acting is very different from say singing.
very much, very much so.
You have,
Even
they right, you're performing, that's the thing you have in common, but that window that you have, as far as age wise is different. Singing, you do have somewhat of a window because you have to appeal to a younger audience or all audiences. With acting, you can appeal to in any audience at any age.
right, right.
It doesn't matter. Like, so
Uh,
I think that's probably the worst bit of advice. And it does cause a little bit of a anxiety thing for me. It's just like, oh my god, I need to hurry up and do something before I turn 40. Oh
mhm.
my gosh, like, just stuff like that. I think that's just being an actor. It has no age gap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's facts. I agree with you 100%. So, shout out to the rapid fire, the warm up questions. Now we done got a little warmed up, man. We can really get into it. So
Yeah,
before we even get started to everything, man, just tell the people, how do you and I know each other?
because we went to Central. Yeah, we went to North Carolina Central University.
Yeah.
That's where it all started at. That's where we got to meet, more specifically in the theater program,
Mhm.
where we had a very small program where everybody was very close knit, everybody got to know each other, and that's what made the performances even better, knowing the person that you're dealing with before
Mhm.
you get on stage.
Right.
So, the illustrious North Carolina Central University is where we met.
Where it all goes down.
It
So
all goes
tell
down.
us, what does it mean to you to be an artist? Because a lot of outside forces have an idea of what it means to be an artist, and oh, because you're an actor, you should be doing blah blah blah. But in your own words, what does it mean to you to be an artist?
What it means to me to be an artist, and this is very near and dear to my heart. Like I feel this every day. I'm like an emotional wreck when when it comes to that particular question and thought and whatnot.
Okay.
But it means to me to inspire.
Mm,
I want to ultimately inspire. I want to entertain, but I want to inspire, and I want when I say inspire, I want to inspire through whatever role
mhm,
I'm portraying at that moment. I also want to inspire with my own story as well. I'm a girl born and raised in Bronx, New York. You know, I don't think you really hear about a lot of, I mean, unless I'm just living under a rock, but I don't think you hear about a lot of actors or actresses that come from Bronx, New York. Like I know Kerry Washington. Yeah, BS all day. I know Kerry Washington. She was born and raised in the Bronx. But you don't really hear about that, and um overcoming adversities and whatnot, being told that you're not good enough and
wow.
whatnot. I want to be able to inspire anybody that you are indeed good enough if you put your mind to it and you know actually do the work.
Mm,
Yeah, you can have a dream, but you got to do the work. You got to put the effort in. You got to know that that dream is going to happen.
yeah.
Like that's it. Or you got to also know that this is for you.
Mm,
This is it that at the end of the day, nothing else is gonna make you happy but this thing.
right.
And that's what it is for me. I want to inspire people to know that, that like no matter what that dream is, just hold on to it and keep going for it. Because I'm living proof that you can make it and you can make it happen.
Oh, that's amazing. Shout out to you for just having that real moment of letting people know what it really means to it. So I'm always curious to hear how people got into the art. Because some people started very early, some people started later. Some was like, it ain't for me. Next when they got into it, they stumbled upon it. What is your story of how you got into the arts?
My story, that's actually really funny. So I've always thought, and I have to ask my mom more about this. She probably would say so too. But I've always thought that I was an entertaining type of person. And while growing up through like elementary and whatnot, like I've had so many things that I wanted to be, but it was only because I was at an impressionable age. So I really honestly didn't know what exactly because it changed all the time. So as I got older, I realized more and more that entertaining was my thing. At one point I was just like, you know what? I want to sing and dance.
Mm,
So I looked up, singing and dancing classes and whatnot. Unfortunately, I didn't get, to go to those because of certain circumstances. But, you know, I really looked into them. I'm just like, I really want to do this, but, I can't get the classes. So I kind of like, teeter tottered on it a little bit.
mhm,
And one day, and we're skipping all the way to high school now. One day, um, we had this thing where we had to audition for different electives and whatnot, basically extracurricular activities within my school. My school, Bronx Preparatory Charter School, it's in South Bronx. We were big on performing arts. So you can kind of say I went to a performing arts school. Um, and performing arts, they did they just did a lot of things. Just look it up, Bronx Prep.
Mhm.
They're amazing. But um, they focused on performance arts. And one time we had to do just an audition just for fun, auditioning for different electives we wanted to do. I auditioned for choir, dance, and I also auditioned for acting. Now
Okay.
that's when that came into play. The teacher, my teacher at the time, Miss Crawford, she basically had us do an improv session.
Right.
By that point, I didn't know what improv really was.
Right.
Okay, I didn't like this is what ninth grade.
Right.
Ninth grade, yeah. You know, I'm doing the improv. She's like, yeah, you're gonna pretend that you just got locked in the room and you can't get out. I'm like, okay. So then immediately I just go and I start, feeding off of this person's energy and I start panicking and I was just like, I got an idea. And then she's like, what? And I banged on the door, help! And it's just, I guess in that moment when I did that, the whole room started radiating with laughter and whatnot, including the teacher and whatnot. So it came down to the moment where I had a decision to make because at this point I got chosen for all three, for choir, for dancing, and for acting, and I had to pick two. I was highly upset. But I picked, of course, the first two, singing and dancing. And the acting teacher came up to me. She was like, you little trickster, you just went and picked the other ones. That's okay though. My feelings are not hurt. But I do want to tell you this. I think you really do, like, this is something that you would be really good at
Ye-
because you're really good. Like, that improv session was amazing. That was really good for somebody that hasn't thought about acting or anything like that. So I was just like, okay, I think I can kind of maneuver that in there. And then as high school went on, the more I went along and grew older, the more I got into acting.
Right. Right.
I did plays. I did Aida, and granted, all of the plays that I was in, they were all ensemble work,
Hmm.
but it helped me, like, being in the ensemble is not always necessarily like a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing. It helped me learn more about the craft and, actually fall in love with the craft
Hmm.
because I got to see the process of everybody, not just me fulfilling a role. Like, I got to see the process of everybody. I got to see how everything works, or how does the lighting system work? How does costumes work? How does, getting, because we did musical theater.
Mm.
So how does it work with getting the voices to sound well, or the dancing. And here's a little tidbit about that: the dancing, I actually helped choreograph a lot of the dances
Wow.
with musical theater because of the dance background. So
Hmm.
how does that all work? And then bringing it all together and just seeing the beautiful outcome that just made me fall, so like I just fell in love with it. And I'm just like, I have to do this. And, you know, as time went on, I just fell in more and more love. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go to college, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to major in, but I have a really good feeling that it's going to be theater. So I took that when I got to college. I took that first year to just kind of ease into college. Um, and also I had another extracurricular activity. I was in the band as well. So now you have, you
Machine.
know, the sound machine. Yep. Shout out to my sound machine. Um, I joined the band and didn't even pick my major yet. So then by the time my second year came, I picked my major, which is theater with a concentration in performance.
Mm.
And I had band. I was busy.
Yeah.
I didn't
No schedule.
Right. I was busy, and there's an interesting thing, like, as far as like being an artist, because this is about the artist prepares, right?
Mhm.
I was an artist all around, and this is how I know I was born for entertaining.
Right.
Um, when I joined the band, I went in with the intention of dancing, of being part of Eclipse, which is the dance group,
Okay.
or the auxiliary, should I say? And I went in with the intention of that, and they're like, "Oh no, you got to play an instrument first before you can do that. So I was like, okay, mind you, girl from the Bronx, didn't know how to play an instrument, only knew dance, only knew singing, only knew at that point a little bit of acting.
Right.
Okay. And they're like, you need to play an instrument. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to read music. I don't know. No. So
Right.
then, so then they like pick any brass instrument. I was like, okay. So, and there's a funny story behind that, but we're not going to go into that. But I ended up picking trombone.
Wow.
And yeah, people are just like, you picked the trombone, not the trumpet,
Yeah.
not even a French horn, but you picked the trombone.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I can't tell you why. Well, I can, but I'm not going to. But I ended up picking it, and I ended up being what they call a horn holder for my first year.
Right.
Okay, horn holders basically I just hold the horn, pretend like I'm playing. I'm not playing anything.
Oh.
I didn't actually learn how to play the trombone until my first spring semester in college, where we had what I like to call sit down band, but it's concert band.
Mhm.
Um, I learned, and I had a teacher, Austin Chalmers. He actually um, helped, and I had a bunch of students helping me too. Like I had one of my best friends. We're still best friends to this day. He helped me a lot with learning my horn, and this teacher, he helped particularly with people who did not know how to play.
Mhm.
I learned how to play with just that semester.
Oh wow.
And then as time went on, I got even better. And one time we had to play this part, for Shake Your Body Down to the Ground by Michael Jackson. He goes, like we had to play that part. And they made us do it like individually, the trombones. We had to do it individually in front of everybody. And I'm just like, that's a little bit nerve-wracking, but all right. So I went and I played it, and everybody was just like, oh shit, she can play. Like, oh, I didn't know. I thought she was still holding the horn. Nah, I learned how to play, homie. So that's the kind of artist I am. Like I like to learn different things, and I have a really fast,
Seems like
yeah.
okay. I got it.
Right. I have a really wide range of things that I can learn how to do. That's the artist in
Right.
me.
You.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So
with acting, I learned that I wanted to learn to act, or I wanted to be an actress when I was in high school.
okay, cool. So what made you choose NCCU? Because you're from New York and then you went down south to go to school. Like what how did that happen? You're an arts
Well,
person and you go down south to go to school. How did that come about?
well, it started off with me deciding that I wanted to go to an HBCU. I just knew that that's just what I wanted to do. I got into other schools, like for instance, I got into Buffalo State, and that's further up north.
Mm,
Um, and I got into other places, but I just felt like no, I want to be around people who are like me.
mm,
You know, I want to be able. My school, Bronx Preparatory Charter School, it was um predominantly Hispanic.
right.
So I had a lot of Hispanic friends, and then you have your African American friends, and then you have. That's what I loved about Bronx Prep. You had a lot of different people,
Okay.
but with an HBCU, it's like
It's a big family
it's
reunion, baby.
yeah, it's a totally yeah, it's totally different. So I know I just wanted to be around people that were a little bit more like me.
Mhm.
Um, so that was the first decision. And then as time went on, I was looking more into all different types of HBCUs.
Right.
Hampton was one of my top choices
H-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I hear you.
um, and I knew that I wanted to also be in the band as well before
Mm,
I got there. So, of course I told you I wanted to dance, but I ended up being, you know, with the trombone section, and I honestly think that that was the better decision for me, thinking long run. But I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. So my cousin, his name is Steve. My
mm,
cousin Steve went to North Carolina Central, and he just randomly, it was just the most random call. Like he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Not so random to where I don't talk to him, because I do speak to my cousin.
right,
But
right.
he's like, "How you doing? I just wanted to talk to you. So, did you ever decide what school you want to go to?" I'm like, "No, I'm like in between. I'm looking and whatnot." They're like, I really think you should look into Central, North Carolina Central University. I'm just like, what is that? Like, and he was just like, it's an HBCU. I went to North Carolina Central and I had a really great time, and I think that you would too.
Mm,
I was like, okay, I trust your judgment,
right, right.
so I'm going to look into it, and I did. I applied, I got in, yay. I got in and it was time for me to go to orientation. I went to orientation and it was just a whole new world. Sorry, that was the dramatics. It was a whole new world. I had to meet so many different people.
Yes.
I made friends really quickly.
Mhm.
So I was like, I already got my friends set up, even though I'm not friends with those people to this day. But I did make friends, so I noticed that the aspect of making friends really quick it wasn't going to be hard. It was going to actually be really cool to
Right,
get
right.
to know people. And then like I went around the campus. I fell in love with the campus. I loved doing um staying in a dorm.
Mhm.
I think I stayed in was it Eagleson?
You was in, yeah, yeah. That was a spot.
Yeah,
That was a spot.
yeah. So I think I stayed in there and I just, we had fun. We had a little party, so they kind of let us know what college life kind of like gave you I like the fact that they gave you a taste of everything. So they gave you a taste of what bursar's office is going to be like. They gave you a taste of what, being in a dorm is going to be like. They gave you a taste of what party life will potentially be like.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just fell in love completely. So I was just like, this is where I need to be. This is it. It has to happen. It has to be here. And then I wanted to get out of New York. Like I was born and raised here. Like I'm like, I don't wanna, you know, right. I don't wanna be here right now. Like I wanna go and explore. Cause I was always I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a sheltered kid. So I didn't get to go out and explore and do things. I just wanted something totally different. And I got that. I got just that going to Durham, North Carolina.
Everybody in Bull City. Yes,
Mhm.
Central was a very special place for all of us. Everyone as a tenant has their own stories and the things that they love and enjoy about it. I'm a firm believer of always talking about the great theater department that we had and how amazing it was. But just talk to us about what did Central teach you as it relates to just the acting aspect of it? Because I felt like that place, that university theater, like being there, it was like people had set the foundation for you, and it was kind of like you had to step up to that threshold that everyone else had done before. The people who have come before us is like, okay, they set the mark. I got to make sure that I grab this baton and run with it. So tell us about some of the things that the theater department kind of shows you that as it relates to just acting.
That you gotta want it. Plain and simple. You
Come on,
have to want it.
come on, talk.
I whew, that was and it was a small department. So you had your competition right there in your face consistently.
Live and direct, ready.
Right. They had it right there. So you have to want it, and you have to want it so much that you are willing to put every ounce of energy you have into it.
Come.
And that's like ultimately what acting is. Like you have to want to do it in order to do it well.
Hmm.
And the funny part about that, I was actually looking through some of my old stuff and I found a letter when I auditioned for my concentration, because you got to audition for the performance concentration.
Yep, you do.
And I found my letter that was from Dr. Austin, God rest his soul, Dr. Austin,
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, Miss Brock,
KDB,
and
Carrie Niggas Brock.
yep, Brock, and Dr. Shabi.
Oh, shabby. Okay, yeah.
And I'm just gonna say it straight up. I tanked that audition. It
Mhm.
was awful. It was awful. I was sick physically. I was sick. I had a cold, but that's still no excuse. I still should have went in there. I should have gone in there prepared. I should have gone. I should have just blew it out of the water, and I tanked it. And I read that letter um recently again, and I was just like, wow, like they're really they're it wasn't they threw out subtle gems So, they were just like, we know that you're under the weather, and each individual teacher wrote their own thing. They gave me my, rundown, and they were just like, we know you're under the weather, but you gotta want this. You gotta like, this is something that you have to want in
Right.
order for you to do it. You can't go in, nervous and showing, like, you can go in nervous, but you can't go in there showing your
No.
nerves.
No.
You can't do it. You have to believe, and you have to want this in
Yeah.
order for it to work, because if you can't get past that, it's not going to happen.
Nope.
And that was the biggest thing that I learned within that department, and it took some time. To this day, it still takes time. I will say this, I am a lot better. I feel like,
Mhm.
at a certain point in time, I am going to be a force to be reckoned with because of the training. But it's just you know, learning that from them over all of the years that I've done it there.
Yeah.
Like, that was the biggest thing that stood out. And I hope I made them proud, and showed them that this is it. This
Yeah.
is what I want to do. And that, you know,
They
that's that.
they brought it out of you. You had to want it, but you had to be able to deliver. When your number was called, when it was time to you perform, whether it be class, stage, just interact, like you had to show up. There was no excuse of, oh, this happened and this is going on in life. And it's like life happens. Keep it moving.
And
And they prepared you for those moments of when you outside of these walls, when you're outside of this university,
mhm,
these are the things that you're gonna need to prepare for. And I can
mhm,
look back vividly and remember moments where I'm going back and forth with Miss Brock because she's like, that ain't it. You gotta do it this way. Why are you saying it this way? You're doing this. And those moments where I'm like, I don't get why you are being this hard. And then being a professional actor and be like, I got something I can use for that because I had these moments at Central that gave me the tools. So I am
mhm.
a firm believer and an avid person to say, like, NCCU, that theater department changed everything. My whole perspective about acting and what it means to be an actor, and even just how to prepare for being a black actor in a normal world. How are you going to be viewed? How are the things that people going to perceive you? All those different elements. I felt like they gave us that. I don't know if you feel the same, but I definitely feel like
I felt exactly the same, and I have a relationship with each one of those
yeah.
teachers, and I noticed that my relationship with each one of those teachers were different. They
Mm,
all were different.
yes.
I would say, for example, Dr. Ashabi, she was my tough love. She was the tough love to
Right.
me, and I was like, "Why don't you like me? I want you to like." But it was just like, it's not about being liked.
Right.
It's about going in there and doing your duty as an actor.
Mhm.
And if I feel like you're not living up to your potential, then I'm gonna tell you straight up. And that's exactly what they're going to do when you get in front of them.
Yeah.
That's just it. And that's what made that department so special, because you had those teachers who have their own personalities and their own way of doing things, but they all show the same type of love. They
Yeah.
all, ultimately, the biggest thing is they love you,
Mhm.
but they're not they're going to be very truthful in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to be taught by Shabi. I did do the play, I got to do for Color Girls,
The Color Girls.
but Shabi knew of me from my work. So, she's like, "Oh, I remember you. I know you did this." She was telling me plays. I'm like, "How you know this?" She's like, "Oh, I know. I've done my research." But Miss
Oh yeah, that's it.
Rock was my reality check gut punch. I know you think you're the shit, but there's 20 other people that think that as well, and they're willing to take your food off the table. So what you gonna do? She was always the one where I felt like I'm doing good, and she'd be like, it was okay. So
It's all right.
that was the one I knew I had, to prove to her. And Dr. Austin was that he was like that uncle or that wise older figure that was going to say something to you that made no sense. Like, where's the rest of the story? Like, what? Like,
Oh my gosh, he's this one thing he used to always say. He
what does that mean? Like, no, I'm asking you for advice.
Right,
Like, what does that even mean? He would just
exactly.
like a riddle and like, I don't get. Like, tell me. No, I need to know what I need to do.
Like,
Hey,
you could sit there, and one thing about Dr. Austin is you could sit there and you could spill your guts to him, spill your guts, and he'll sit there like this and start laughing just like that. I'm
Exactly.
just like,
Do that. Do that.
I'm going through a life crisis here. Why are you laughing? And he starts laughing. And the reason is he's not that he's laughing at, your pain or nothing. He's just laughing at the fact that this is life, honey.
Right.
This is life. Like, don't worry. Like, that's the least of your worries. Wait till you get out of these walls. So yeah, but he also had a time where he had a serious moment, and he just gonna sit there and be like, look, you need to get your shit together.
He would give you those times. And I don't think there was an instance where I talked to him, I didn't take away some type of gem. Whether I had to
That's
figure it out 3 days later or 4 days. Oh, this is what he meant. He always had a way of just getting you on your path without like kind of letting you find your way. Like he would tell you something. It's like, okay, it was like a treasure hunt with him. Like, okay, does it mean this? Does it mean that? Like,
exactly.
he was gonna
Yeah.
let you figure it out. So I definitely appreciated those moments. But even tell us, like, so I'm always a person like when it comes to doing a role, I always like to see how people process about going about a role and how they prepare. So, kind of, what's your process when you're either preparing for a role once you got it, or even auditioning for a role? How do you? What's your process for preparing?
I use my resources, which is a movie or movies or television.
Mm,
And I, take that into account. I sit down and I think, who was more like this character that I have in front of me? Who was what role did you see somebody portray um that was more like this role that you have right in front of you?
right.
So I think about that and I'm like, oh, this show, that show, this actor, that actress. And I'll go and I'll watch them and I'll try to pick up mannerisms.
Right.
Try to pick up a lot of their mannerisms. Like I remember back in school, I did after the ball. It was this small little play we had to do within the black box.
Mhm.
And Letitia Casey was my director.
Mm.
So I had to play a very, very, like, not very, but at that point to me it was like very, very older woman. I had to play somebody who was probably within their mid 50s.
And college
And
student, like,
huh?
you're a college student, like I'm 20, so now I got to fix my.
Right. I'm like, yeah, I'm early 20s. I'm like, you want me to play a 50s? All right, I guess. So so what I did, the process I took from that is I read the play
Right.
and I looked at the person. I'm just like, she's giving me Jennifer Lewis vibes. And Jennifer Lewis, everybody knows who Jennifer Lewis is. She's always
Freaking Lewis.
ev-
We know the
right.
black mom.
Everybody's favorite auntie. And I was just like, she's giving me these vibes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at some of Jennifer Lewis's earlier work.
Mhm.
So I looked at her earlier work and I picked up a lot of her mannerisms and I picked up a lot of her staff and her, you know, can do attitude because I'm just that.
Mm.
And looking at that and looking at it coming from somebody who was of older age, it helped me because I feel like the sass of a 20 something year old is way different than the sass of a 50-year-old,
Yeah.
way different.
Yeah.
So I had to get that from somewhere. So that's what I did. I looked at that um I learned. I'm a visual learner.
Okay.
So I learned by watching her and then like taking some of those mannerisms and going into, rehearsals. And I'm just like, well, maybe I should try it this way. And maybe she should just say it this way. And
Mhm.
maybe maybe I should just do it this way and then add my own little flair to it and my power behind it. And I was able to create that character. Same thing with the play a play I just recently did. Um, sorry, it was called Stronger in Broken Places,
Mhm.
and it was done in Atlanta when I was still in Atlanta at the time, and I played. I played a small role of Felicia,
Mhm.
and Felicia is a I hate to say it, she's a ghetto bird. And Shantie or Shantwanelle is not a ghetto bird. I'm more of a, chill, laid back, but when I'm with my friends, I'm crazy.
Right.
But what I did was I took some aspects of Shantwanelle, that craziness, those crazy times that I have. I took that and I blended it in with like what perceives to be the ghetto bird. What did I watch for that? I can't even remember what I watched to pick up Felicia,
Right.
but I took that small part and I ran with it and I had so much fun. I took every time I got on stage, it was a performance, and my director, she told me that all the time. She's like, you're really, really good. Like, wow, like you really brought this character to life. I added um a bunch of different mannerisms. One in particular being this big, loud, boisterous laugh
Mhm.
that, everybody, they have no choice but to sit there and laugh back at it, because you know how you laugh at somebody else's laugh. And mind you, I don't laugh like Felicia. So for me to just pull that out, they're just like, how did you do that? I'm just like, well, I mean, I'm a visual learner, so I watch things.
Mhm.
Um, I read.
Right.
I read my part over and over, and I look at the character and I write little notes down, and this is me learning from my training as well. So
Right.
like I've gone to different improv classes, one particular PAN, which is Premier Actors Network, that's still in Atlanta. I
Right.
also go to Anatomy of a Scene. Um that's an acting class out in Atlanta.
Right.
And they Pan focuses more on improv, but with Anatomy of a Scene, you focuses more on taking the actual scene apart. So taking each scene in
Wow.
the play or the script apart and saying, okay, write down what are your adjectives here? Like, what do you like here? What do you did? Like, these are things that I've learned over time. And I took those things and I added them to my preparation and whatnot. But to give it more of a give you more of a sturdy or a straightforward answer. It's just me just watching things. I'm visual,
Taking it
so
in.
like I have to watch people do it, and I'm like, okay, I like that mannerism, or I like that. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use that with what I have here, and then I'm gonna add my own little flair to it.
Hmm.
That's how I prepare.
That's dope. That's dope. Taking those elements, every little thing, and adding that character. That's amazing. And
Mhm.
that's our job as artists to find out who that person is, who this character is, and taking that to take little elements from here and taking it there. That's super dope. But you also did a lot of you did other work outside of Central while being at Central, right? Didn't you do something at what was that theater? I think it was called Durham Family Theater. Then you do some work out
I
there.
sure did.
Tell us
I
about
did. I did.
that.
We did a Shakespearean play, As You Like It,
Yep.
and I played. Gosh, it was so long ago. Audrey.
Mhm.
Audrey, she was a different kind of character, and that one was a little bit more of a challenge because Shakespeare is not easy.
No.
It is not easy. You have to. That's even more like you're talking about with just regular um common English of taking the scene apart. Try doing that with Shakespeare.
Like break it down the
You
Bible,
know,
make it.
right.
Am I saying this? What does this mean?
Right, like what the heck does that mean? And then you read and it's like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and to take that and then having to say it like it's common English. That I think that was the hardest part. But
Yeah.
I did do that. It was once again a small role. Audrey was basically considered I hate to say this, considered the whore of the town. So, I am playing this character Audrey, and I am in awe of this I'm in awe of this guy. He's like kind of like the clown of
Mm.
the play,
Right.
like in all little aspects. Like he had the little hat that goes out like this, that has the bells on the end, so every time he moves you hear it. And I was just infatuated with him, and I was in love with him because somebody actually wanted to marry me and take me seriously,
Right.
and was what she thought, but his hidden agenda was to marry me so he can get some. That's basically what was it.
Right.
But I was just telling him, oh, I love you, and why would you like he said some really messed up things to me that if you heard it in common English, you'd be like, damn, he said that to her, and she's still sitting there, and she didn't slap the taste out of his mouth. Like that's how that went. But that character was very, very, very interesting, and that was like in my earlier days where I was just kind of getting into the groove of becoming, like a solidified actress. So that one was like one of my challenges, you
I
know.
I like it.
Mhm.
So you talked about challenges. What is the hardest part about being an actor? 'Cause I know we face our own challenges, and everyone has things that they perceive as a challenge for them. But what are some of the hardest parts about being an actor?
Allowing yourself to feel.
Mm,
So um allowing yourself to feel while knowing that people are watching.
mm,
So
that's heavy.
yeah, so for me, like I I want to feel everything my character feels. I'm more of a I like the Meisner method. Like I like to feel.
Yeah, I got you.
I want to feel if my character, or should I say I'm a method actor, sorry. Um my character, if they're upset and they feel like the world is crumbling down on them, I want to feel that pain. I want to feel it. But the conflict that comes with that is you want to feel that pain, but you also want to do a good job. Yeah, and everybody is watching you. So it's just like, like,
Yeah.
am I feeling the pain enough for them to feel the pain? And they're watching me, and you don't want to do anything wrong, or you don't want to mess up. And another challenge of mine actually is the words. So like I like to stick to the script, but sometimes for
Hold
me,
on, pause for that. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yes, I like to stick to the script and I want to say exactly what's on the script, but sometimes I want to say it in my own words, but it's just like you want to please that audience, but moreover you want to also please that director, and you want because you at the end of the day there is a reason why those words are there in the script. There's a reason why the
Yeah.
person who wrote it said it for a reason, and you want to stick to that as much as possible. You want to stick to whoever wrote it. You want to stick to what they said,
Mhm.
and that's another challenge of mine too. Is making sure, like, because I'm a perfectionist on the low, and making sure I do it correctly and I said it. What? Why are you laughing?
No, I'm saying we all are like when it comes,
Yeah,
we like, nah, that wasn't right. Let me fix this. And someone
right.
saying that was the best performance I ever saw, and you be like, I could have said this line different. Or I could have done. And like we're never satisfied. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Never satisfied. Like that's the challenge of mine too. Like just being a perfectionist and doing, and being true to the script. I think that's what I really mean. Being true to the script and what that character is saying, being true to that character and their words.
Hmm.
So I think those three elements are like one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, stick to the script has always been is I've always been a stickler for that because you know how it is when you be in the scene with somebody and they start ad libbing. I'm like, it's not even a line. And I'm a person, I'm very different when it comes to like if I'm doing a scene with you, if I'm doing a movie, a script, anything I do, I know the whole thing. I don't just know my part, I know the entire part. So I know your part, my and everyone. And so when I'm like, I'm looking in my mind, I'm like, so you just gonna make up your own words. Like I've always been a person just kind of stuck to that script. I'm like, no, it's a reason why they have it. It's important. And I think the only time I've ever had a moment where I was like, all right, I don't like this line. I would say it this way. Shout out to my man Howard Craft. Howard L. Craft wrote and played my first show. I think it was my second show of his. And it was a line like something about a Hummer. And I was like, well, I would never like, why would you have a Hummer as a kid? Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, no. And he was like, yeah, nah, that's kind of how I wrote it. And I was like, okay. But that was the only time I had like a moment where I was kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't say this. And then he was kind
Right,
of, yeah, but I wrote it this way. And I was like, okay, he wrote it that way. I gotta go with it. So
right.
I feel you with sticking to the script and sticking to the fundamentals. Now we know though that, as much as we enjoy what we do, we love what we do, we know that no success comes out without haters, doubters, naysayers, even non-believers. Tell us with your experience with any of the above. Have you had any of those haters, non-believers, doubters, anything? Tell us about that experience, Shantwanelle. She's like, oh God.
Uh, okay. So I don't have any. I'm gonna say this. I don't have any haters, but I do have a lot of doubters.
Mm.
A lot of doubters. That's like,
Don't ask. Oh, hey, but go ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
Do you have a plan B? What is it that you're going to do if this acting thing doesn't work? I
Oh,
I think that you should be doing this. You're so good at that, and blah blah blah. Okay. I just say okay, and you know what? The crazy part is, majority of it is family.
and that hurt.
I feel personally that I have more supporters that are just friends than my actual blood relatives are. Like, and you know what? I've been coming to terms with that's okay because I'm the first one to do this within my family,
Okay.
believe it or
Right,
not. So I'm breaking a barrier here. I'm the first one to seriously take acting serious.
right,
Nobody else has done it.
right.
I mean, they may have done some singing here and there and whatnot, but nobody else has like taking acting and like, yeah, I'm gonna go to classes, I'm going to pay for classes, I'm going to pay for headshots, I'm going to do all of this stuff. And acting it's like your own business. And you're investing a lot of time and money. And then, when you have family, and friends, but more so family that's seeing all of this, they're thinking that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money because you haven't been on the screen yet.
Mhm. Sad.
Um, yeah, it's very sad and it's very discouraging a lot of the times. Like I've had, families sit me down and just like, look, you need to get your shit together because if you don't have your shit together, you need to start thinking of a plan B.
What? Oh wow.
In my mind, though, and I don't know, I was like, maybe this is just the stubborn nature of mine because I'm a Taurus. So we can be naturally very stubborn,
Sources.
or we can be naturally very stubborn when we believe in something that we really want. But in my mind, there is no plan B. This is it. This is it. And I just had this conversation with somebody else about this, somebody else that was interviewing me. But this is it. I have no plan B.
Right.
This is what I love to do. This is where my passion rests.
Right.
And then everything else that I want to do along with that, because I also kind of label myself a small entrepreneur, because there's other things that I want to do and I want to invest in later.
Right.
But I want to use my platform in acting to help branch out into those things.
Talk
And
about.
that's why my passion is so hard on because this is something that I love to do. And
Mhm.
then everything else will just fall into place and fall in with it. Because I have a lot of talents. We've already kind of discussed that. I have a lot of different talents, you
Versatile.
know,
Which
right,
I got you.
right. But acting, that's what my heart is. Like I like I'll sit there and I'll watch somebody and I'll watch them give like the ultimate performance and I'm just like, wow, I felt every bit of that. I felt all of that passion. I feel that, oh my, like, and then I just get into, I always say something, God, I want this so bad. That's how it is. Like, I've never felt so strong
Yeah.
about anything else. That's my true love. And for you to tell me you need to make a plan B
Ultimate
for
is
my true,
ultimate.
yeah, and I know it comes from them not wanting to see me struggle. I think that's what that is. It's not necessarily that they don't think I can do it,
Mhm.
but they don't want to see me struggle. And I'm just like, look, this is what I chose. I'm a full grown adult.
Mhm.
It's going to be struggle, and I'm okay with that. it sucks. I might be down and out sometimes, or I might cry about it sometimes, but ultimately, this is what I want to do. And
Right.
this is what I felt that this is my purpose on earth. This is what I was born to do. I was born to do this. I know it. I can't explain it to you. I can't give you, a roadmap of it, but this is what I just know. It's just something in within me that just tells me this is it. This is what you need to be doing, or this is where your heart is. This is what you want to do.
It's amazing. That's amazing that you push through that adversity, and it hurts so much more when it's family because they know you. Um,
Hmm.
if it's a stranger, you don't care, but when it's somebody that knows you, it cuts a little deeper. But
Absolutely.
I, I'm excited to hear you speak. Like, look, I got to do it, and that's what it's about. You got to push past those naysayers, those I don't get it, people, and whatever, and learn that you can't try to convince Eric because you can even if you try to explain to them what it is not going to make a difference. So shout out to you for keeping moving. But on a brighter note, talk to us about this 5-point series that you had the opportunity to be a part of. How did that opportunity come about? You got to be in a web show here in Atlanta. How did that even come about? Tell us about that.
Oh, okay. So I was on Actors Access one day. Everybody knows about Actors Access. And I was just submitting myself for various things. And, 5 points, the series popped up. And I was like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to submit because, you know, I want to, start working.
Mhm.
Um, and I got chosen for an audition. And I was like, okay. So I went in, I think I auditioned for a different role. It was a different role I auditioned for, but they ended up I think they either ended up getting rid of that role or they ended up giving it to somebody else and taking me and replaced somebody else for another role.
Mhm.
Because there was somebody I played Anastasia and you know somebody else was already playing Anastasia, but I guess they might have dropped out
Mhm.
or something. So they were like, "Well, we want you to play this role instead, because we feel like you fit this role better." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. A role to me is a role. I get to play. I get to have fun."
Right, right.
And Anastasia, she was a cool girl. She was very insecure. I will say that, very insecure girl, and she put up with a lot of nonsense. But ultimately, you could just tell she just wanted to be loved
Right.
and she was not afraid to go to combat for her man. Like that was that was a very interesting role. But yeah, that's how I got into 5 points the series. They and I went in. I think that was when one of those auditions I just went in, I did it, and I was just like, they say to do this anyway with every audition, but I went in, did it, and I forgot about it. And like,
Gotta have amnesia about it.
right. It's like, da 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 da, and scene kind of thing. And then thank you. Right, right. And thank you for your time. You're welcome. Y'all have a good night. And I went home and I mind my business, just not doing anything, And then next thing you know, I get this email. Congratulations, we would like you to come in and play for the part of I was like, oh, I got it. I was like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. And it was just a very, I would say, a very different yet fun experience to meet new people, to meet other people that were, in the industry as well, and other like-minded individuals who have a passion to
Mhm.
create.
Right.
Because ultimately what we're doing here, we're creating. So
Yeah.
that's how I got into 5 points.
Yeah. So if y'all on YouTube, go to YouTube, check out the 5-point series. You gonna see her doing her thing. I ain't gonna tell y'all about it. Go look at it right now. But anyway, so you talked about some of the struggles that you have with your family members and friends and people who don't really see the vision, right? And just the challenges that we face as just being artists. How do you keep yourself going and motivated when the world tells you that art is not that important? You have sports and everything else going on in the world that everyone is putting their money and resources to. And sometimes people don't really look at art to be like, you're really making a difference. But there's nothing you can do in the world that is not a reflection of art, that does not coincide with art. So how do you, as an artist, keep yourself going and motivated when you in not only that, you in a cutthroat industry? How do you do it? Tell us, Shan. Tell us how you do it.
It's my passion.
Mm.
My passion is what keeps me going. Ultimately, it's my like how I said earlier. Like I'm watching something, I'm like, oh, and I just fall in love with every aspect, whether it's the scenery, whether it's you know, the actual acting, whether it's the action that goes around in between that, and being able to be anything that you want to be. You can literally, as an actor, you can be anything you want. You can be a doctor one day and then you can go be a mechanic the next day. You can do literally any occupation because of acting.
Hell,
And right. And that's what makes me so passionate, being able to be anything I want to be.
right.
Because remember, I told you growing up, I was very impressionable. I always changed my mind on things I wanted to be. And
Mm,
then I ultimately found something where I can be all those things. I can literally be all those things. If I want to be a nurse, like at one point when I was younger, I wanted to be a nurse like my grandmother, because my grandma's my best friend.
mhm.
I can be a nurse. One day I wanted to be a teacher. My mom's a teacher. One day I can be a teacher. You know, at one point I wanted to be a fashion designer. I could be a fashion designer in a show. It does not matter. Like you can be literally anything you want to be. And that passion alone is what pushes me and keeps me going. It's like, listen, you got to get your shit together. You got to get this together. You have to read. You have to train. You
Oh,
have to, get these new headshots. You need to go get, you know, you need to go get that new those lights over there. So when you do your audition, you get that. You need to go get this backdrop and blah blah blah.
yeah.
I have a lot of things that kind of hinder me from getting those things. Because of the outside circumstances that I have going on. But at the end of the day, it still sits on my heart. It still sits on my mind that I need to get those things done so I can progress forward and become the best actress that anyone has ever seen. Or I want to be up there with the greats. Like, I love, and I should have said this 2 days ago, but I love Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep, I love her story. I love, how, she was told, no, she was told that she was too ugly to be an actress. And look at her now. you know I want to become that. I always say that I'm the underdog. I want to become that underdog that people like, well, not become that underdog, but I want to be that underdog that everybody sees, that became something.
Come on.
And it's from just the passion of acting. That's what drives me, that's what keeps me going, and I haven't let go thus far, and I highly doubt that I will ever
Never,
let go.
never,
you
never,
know
never. That is special. It's always key to keep going. Don't
Mhm.
know why, can't figure out, things ain't going right, life is on the brinks, everything is going against it. Keep
Mhm.
going. So shout out to
Right.
you for just pushing through, because it's very hard. It's very hard to be in our world.
Oh
Very,
my
very
gosh, it's like it's a common struggle. Like I at one point, and I was living in Atlanta at one point. Remember, I just moved back to New York actually fairly recently. Just this past, it'll be a year coming up, but this past February, um, I moved back to New York because of different circumstances.
Mhm.
Um, but while being in Atlanta, I was working consistently while being a waitress slash server. And I just remember a lot of those nights where I would get home and I'm too tired to do anything else. I'm
Mhm.
too tired to think about anything else. And then, all of that started to become a buildup. And I remember, speaking to my he's my friend, but he's also my manager at the time. And speaking to him and telling him I can't do this anymore. And then I just started, crying, because I'm like, I'm not doing what I love. This is what I want to do. I want to act. I don't want to be America's Next Top Server. Who wants that? I don't. And I just started crying, and I was just upset because I'm just like, this can't be life. I didn't sign up for this. I signed up to be an actress. I didn't sign up for this, and something has to change. I can't keep being here all the time, all day, every day. I just something has to change. And he was probably the only manager that I had that actually understood it
Hmm.
and got it and was like, I'm willing to work with you to get you, going. If you have an audition, if you have things that you need to do, you let me know and I will help you with that. He's the only manager that I've ever had that said that, because he's my friend as well, but he was the only manager that was willing to work with me, even if it meant that his management was gonna be on his ass,
Right. That's
you
love.
know. Right. With like if you brought up 5 points of series, with 5 points, I actually had to quit a job to film that.
Mm.
And mind you, 5 points only filmed on the weekends. So I was willing. I told him, I said, hey, just for the next 2 months, probably even shorter than that, I just need the weekends off. I can work during the week, but I need the weekends off so I can film this series because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. And after that, we can go back to weekend me being scheduled on the weekends. And there's like, no, we don't want to do it.
Talk
So
about it.
you
That's
Yeah, so you have to choose, right? You need to choose between us or filming.
oh,
I chose filming.
deuces.
Right, because what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna sit there and tell me that I have to choose between some dead end job that, yeah, you guys pay the bills. But, you know, I'm not gonna choose between some dead end job and what I love and what I came out here for. You
Mhm.
can't like that's what you're not gonna do.
Right, right,
And then at that point, I actually had 2 jobs. I went and I quit that job and I kept the other job. And granted, the other job I made way less money,
right.
but they still were able to give me that time to go film and do what I had to do, you
Right.
know? So I've quit a job to do an acting gig because I wasn't gonna let, them stand in my way,
Dope.
and then to this day, if I go back, hey, you looking for a job? No, not looking for a job here. No, sorry. Sorry, no. I mean, even though it's in Atlanta, but sorry, no. But yeah, like it's just that struggle, like for all the actors out there, and you think that people are not experiencing the same things. You got a lot of people who experience the same things as you. That you
Yeah.
know, quitting that 9 to 5 job so you can go pursue your dream. I feel that takes a lot of courage,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of strength to do that. And you're not the only ones out there that have done it. I did it
That's facts.
and don't care about it to this day.
Shout out to you for making it happen. And even taking it back a little bit, we've made it to the new year. It's 2021.
Mhm.
2020 was a year that was just crazy, right? I mean, so much to talk about as relates to that. But just as far as being an artist, do you feel like 2020 did it hurt you as an artist or did it help you? Because a lot of people have different sides of the spectrum. Some people felt like, yeah, opportunities were gone, but it allowed me to focus or zone in. And others were like, oh no, I had all these opportunities that just messed up everything. As an artist, how was 2020 for you?
It hurt and it helped. It was
Mm,
both.
mm,
Because the intention behind me moving to New York was to get my shit together.
okay.
Mind you, I lived in Atlanta from 2014 all the way until 2020.
Mm,
So that's 6 years.
mhm,
Um, and I hadn't hit the nail on the head for acting to my standard at all.
right.
I haven't been going on enough auditions. I had the stuff, I had headshots and, you know, I had those things, but because I was working so much to get the money to do those things, I wasn't really focusing on the matter at hand, you
Mm,
know. And I had a a recent experience where I had to choose. I had to make a decision once again to choose I um whether I move out on my own, because at that point I was still roommate living, whether I move out on my own and now I have to work 10 times harder because the cost of living is expensive, you know, And I'm one of those people, I don't really trust living with a lot of different people. It's very hard for me to do that. So when I found that particular person, she
Right.
was godsend. I was like, she was perfect person to live with. I knew she was gonna have her stuff on time, and vice versa. But when it came down to at that point separating, it was like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? I know I can't afford to live, you know, on my own, and right now without having to work round the clock, basically.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, and me, I'm the type of person where it's like I have to have one focus at a time. Sometimes I'm good at multitasking, but with some things, I'm still learning. That's a challenge.
Right. Right.
So I had to make a big decision, and then I just sat and I actually thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I've worked a lot as a server, and I'm tired, and I want to start putting more energy and more effort into my acting like I was supposed to be doing these past 6 years.
Mhm.
So that's when I made a decision to come back home.
Mhm.
And coming back home, I fought hard, like, oh God, I don't want to go back home because I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Da, 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 da. But then I had to start thinking on the optimistic, side of things.
Mhm.
Like, if you go home, you won't have to work as much.
Right.
You can, and anything that you do get, or any money that you do save, because at this point I'm staying with family.
Right.
Um, anything that you do get, you can put all of that towards your acting career.
Mm.
So like, you don't have to work as many hours, and then anything that you earn from the hours you have worked, you can put towards your acting career.
Yeah.
And you can finally have freedom. I didn't have freedom.
Mhm.
I mean, I had freedom in the sense of I can go as I please,
Right.
but you know, I have freedom to actually do the things that I couldn't do before. I had freedom to meditate. I had freedom to read. I had freedom to, just explore different things.
Mhm.
And then I was like, you know what? Maybe moving back home won't be so bad. I can finally do what I want. I
Yeah.
can finally do what I've been trying to do these past 6 years. So I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Right.
And I packed up my U-Haul and I hightailed it to New York. I drove a U-Haul by myself with my car attached to the back of said U-Haul by myself to New York, and got here, and I was just excited. And there was snow on the ground. So I was excited and unpacked my stuff and blah blah blah. A week later, coronavirus. I was like, are you shitting me? I was like, okay, it's a new virus. I know how to keep myself healthy and not be sick because I'm a germaphobe too on the low. So I'm like, I'm gonna be all right. The news just kept coming in and just got worse and worse. And then shutdown happened. I'm like, well, there's my year. There's my comeback year. My comeback year is gone because somebody decided to come over here with their sick butt, and not everybody's sick. And
Right.
now I can't do this and I can't do that. And I wanted to go maybe work in the theater and do something, and start auditioning regularly and just get my life together. 2020 was gonna be my comeback year.
Right. Right.
Like, and it was completely tarnished by coronavirus.
Mm.
So that's why I said it hurt me.
Yeah.
It hurt in the aspect of I didn't get to do what I wanted to, what I initially planned to do. I
Mhm.
didn't get up here and start doing auditions because at that point everything is shut down.
Of course.
Filming shut down.
Yeah.
Stage, like the theater, and that's a sad story about Broadway right now. It's shut down, and they don't know when they're going to be able to open or if they will be, and that's sad because that's where acting stems from being live and in person. You know,
Got the Lion
so
King in the backdrop right there. That's a real.
yeah. I actually got this. I went to the play in Atlanta when they came to Atlanta, Fox Theater.
Yeah.
And my roommate, she got me a Christmas gift, a ticket to see Lion King, 'cause I've never seen it before. So I got this blanket as my souvenir. But yeah, I went, and I was just really, really distraught about it. But then I was like, you know what? That's fine too. I'm going to take this time to actually prepare and get myself ready. So I went, I asked a lot of my friends who are also in the industry, what books do you read
Hmm.
and whatnot? What books do you read, or what do you recommend that I read, or what are some things that I could be doing now? And then I also researched things. And then at that point, um, we're now trying to adjust to this new normal. A lot of things on like Instagram kept popping up, and I started following different casting
Hmm.
agencies and whatnot. And they're just like, oh, here's some advice of things you could be doing while you're quarantining.
Wow.
So that's the part that helped. I was able to play catch up and get myself back in order because at this point, 6 years, I haven't been sufficiently, and I have been, but I haven't been
How
sufficiently
you wanted to.
training,
Right.
yeah, and doing all the things that I should have been doing. I took that year and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna read my books. I'm gonna continue training. So that way when we do get out of this mess, I can come back out,
Right.
right, full force, and know what I'm doing and whatnot. And I've had my refresher courses. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it did both for me.
That's dope. That's dope. So
Mhm.
what are some of the things you're looking forward to doing for 2021? Because I know you said you've been reading more, you've been studying more. Are you like are you writing stuff, or like what are some of the things that, if you can tell us any of the things you're kind of working on?
Uh, I haven't been writing. I don't. I'm a real. I haven't stepped into that platform yet, but I
Okay.
have not been writing. But I have been. I've had ideas where I've written them down. So
Mm,
there's two series things that I want to get done,
mm.
but they're just ideas right now. So I haven't found the right people to execute them with. I know of one person that I do want to kind of get together with and collaborate and be like, do you think this is possible? Or do
Mhm.
you think, and then collaborate, like, because acting in like, you know, theater work or film work, that's all collaboration.
All that.
You have different like minded individuals that come together and they have the same thing that they want to do, but, still. So yeah, I have some ideas and whatnot. But lately for me, my focus is my training.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been working hard on trying to find a place where I can go in person at some point in time. The world's gonna open back up.
Yeah.
So I've been focusing on getting my training done and honing down on my skills so
Mm.
that way when I can get into the room and get into my audition, I can get there, give it my all, and bounce, and then start booking things because I it's time to start booking.
Yeah.
Time to start booking. Right now we're in pilot season.
Right.
January is pilot season.
Right.
So I mean I don't um I see myself more so submitting myself for more independent things so I can build up my reel some more and then start going for the major things. But like I said, my primary thing to do is like focus on getting my proper training and consistent training because I've gotten to training and I actually am in a class right now,
Mm.
which I'm super grateful for.
Right.
It's Anatomy of a Scene still with Todd, Todd Anthony.
Hmm.
Um, and he's a really, really good teacher. He does one-on-one teaching, and everything is done via Zoom at this point. So, it works perfect for me. He's in Atlanta. I'm here, so it works perfect for me.
Right.
Um, and just trying to like just get my skill set going, so that way when I do get in there, I wanna be like Denzel Washington and James Earl Jones too. I want to command attention too, and that's just what it is. That's one of my one of my main focuses for the year, among other things. I have other things I'm focusing
That's dope. That's dope. You will. I am trusting and believing. I just know that you're gonna execute on those things. So keep going with that. But before I let you go, what is it that you want people to either know about you, or even what is it that you want to just leave the people? Because there may be artists watching this, there may be aspiring artists, or people who don't know you. What is it that you want to leave them with today? I'll give the stage to you, and I'll just fall back. So, floor is yours.
I want people to know that I am not a quitter. I never give up.
Mm.
You know, I've been I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing this for a while now, and you know, a lot of people tend to think because you don't have that thing on the big screen, or you don't have a show that you've been in or anything like that. That means that ultimately you gave it up
Mm.
and that's it, and that you're done, or it's just never going to happen. And that's not the case. As an artist, it takes time. Things take time, you know, and going into this, I did know that that it wasn't going to happen overnight. you
Mhm.
know I know it's going to happen. I see it every day in my mind's eye. I feel it. I feel me being happy, and knowing that I made it. I finally did it, and now everybody can see that I did it. But you know ultimately, I have not given up, and that I'm still here, and it's going to be crazy when I get out there. It's going to be crazy. And I encourage all of those who are pursuing the same path that I'm pursuing, um, to not give up either. Because you just never know. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know who's gonna be watching. Like, somebody could be watching this right now and just like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful, and I'm digging her energy. Let me bring her in and see how she works well with my set, or with my crew or anything like that. So you just never know who's watching,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And you have to keep focused and stay true to yourself, so that way when they do get to know you, you're going to be it.
Yep.
So just don't give up. Don't settle. That's what plan B comes into. To me, that's settling. But don't settle, and don't be afraid of no, the
Mm.
word no.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it, because that no is supposed to fuel you to get to where you need to go.
Yes.
So just don't be afraid. Go in, keep your head up, stay true to yourself,
Mhm.
and just get it done, because you have to. This is it. You have to want it.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I thank you so much for taking part and just accepting my offer, my invitation to be a part of this wonderful show. I seen your work before. I work with you. I see what you're doing. I'm always watching. So salute to you. Continue to do your great work. Continue to bring it as you always do, and continue to just be a light. There's so many people that look to us, you know, to which way to go and how to go about things. And we have the ability to change people's lives with what we do. And I know you don't take it lightly, neither do I. And I pray that you continue to keep going, continue to ignite other people, and use yourself as an example. So I salute you, Queen. Do your thing. I can't wait to see you. I'm just so thankful that you saw my vision to this and said, yeah, I'll be a part of it. Yeah, let me know. So
Absolutely. Like, I think this is a really good platform, to just get to know other people in the arts. I think it's really, really, really cool. It's really dope. And the funny thing about it is, in sharing the news that you were starting this platform, I had another actor who was actually doing very well in the industry. He just did a show. Um is Quentin Player. He's in the show The Good Lord Bird. He reached out to me because we're really close friends. He was just like, "Oh, what's this? This looks cool. What is this?" I was just like, it's a show, and it's a platform when you're talking to artists and how they prepare." He was just like, "That sounds really dope. Are you gonna be on it?" Yes. It's just like, dope. So you have a lot of people already waiting and looking forward to this. So I can't wait for them to see it, and everybody to, you know, just kind of hone in and just just be them, be the artist that they are.
right. Yes, it's gonna be dope. I can't wait until this comes out, and it's gonna help a lot of people. It's gonna help. It's helping me. I get to learn about people that I know, and I'm a fan of you and all the artists I've had on here. So I love the opportunity to hear people's stories and just talk about them being great. I always say I know dope people who do dope things, and what better way to show them love to give them an opportunity to just talk freely about what they do.
And you're one of those people too. You do dope things. You're doing so many things. You're an actor, teacher. You're full. Like I said, with as an actor, you're technically labeled as an entrepreneur too, and that's you're doing that. You're doing that. I see your stuff all the time. Just like, oh my gosh, Jay's out here doing it. He's out here doing it. I'm like, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. Just know I'm watching too.
Right.
I'm watching, so I'm watching, and you watching me, and then we just watching each other.
And it was an amazing interview. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the people that tuned in. As always, remember to support the arts, and we'll catch y'all next week on The Artist Prepared. Peace.
J Keys.